Pokemon Go Fest, the tragedy that refuses to die, because there are still articles being made about how disastrous this went. This just coming out a few hours ago on The Verge. I went to Pokemon Go Fest and it was a disaster. Also, Verizon says don't blame them for Pokemon Go Fest technical hiccups. Now, I need to make this video in response to some of my other videos and what else has been going on, because Trainer Tips made a video saying what happened at Pokemon Go Fest, and I have been flooded with comments from his fans saying that, oh, Niantic isn't to blame, Trainer Tips says so. Remember, he was paid to go to the event. Now, Trainer Tips does disclose this, but I don't feel that he is telling the full truth. I'm not here to attack him. I understand that if you're under a contract or if you're closely working with a company and something goes wrong, you kind of have to do what they tell you to for the sake of PR, but it is something to keep in mind with all of this going on, because I feel that with all of the other sources telling us that Niantic is most likely at fault for what happened at Pokemon Go Fest, you can't take someone who just has a large fan base, who works closely with Niantic, and believe them fully. So let's go into this one a bit more. This is a statement from Verizon. This was not a Verizon issue. Even when attendees were experiencing issues accessing the game itself, other applications like YouTube worked just fine, which indicates the issues were outside of Verizon's control, like an issue with the game's server itself. This is where things start to get interesting, because Verizon is making this statement in response to what Trainer Tips says, because Trainer Tips says that Sprint was the only carrier that was able to handle it. They were the ones that brought out a mobile Wi-Fi truck to kind of help with the load going on right there, and then it was AT&T and Verizon that were also dropping the ball as carriers. So it's also not even responding to the comments I've received on my video from Trainer Tips fans, but also Verizon having to make a statement about it as well. Also, something else that hints at this being a game issue and not a data issue or cell provider failure is that the private networks, the press networks, were also having a problem with the game. It seems just like the density of people the game could not keep up with, or needed something else to kind of perform optimally. I'm wondering if maybe, like, since the game has been underperforming since launch, that Niantic has cut back on these servers in some areas because it's just not necessary to have it for people that aren't playing the game, or something else could be a little deeper, because Trainer Tips even says in the video that he was experiencing the same issues even though he had like special Wi-Fi. Well, then wouldn't that show that it's not going to be a provider issue if they have even really solid service and it's not going to work even though it's specifically for them? This whole issue just gets more and more fishy, because Niantic even accepts blame on stream. That one of the representatives come out, they say, hey, we're working with an authentication issue and a crash bug, but also we're trying to work with the cellulars, and they even say on the stream in front of everyone, hey, we're working with the cell companies because they are a part of this problem as well. There's also the possibility that Trainer Tips is not being given the full information from Niantic at the same time. That when you think about it, if Niantic lied, what if they didn't tell the whole truth about how much load their game takes, or also the amount of players that could be showing up? And one of my working theories is maybe they tried to cut corners as well by not giving the full information to all of the companies, that they just looked at the carrier data and said, okay, more people are with Sprint, we can tell them that they might be facing most of the load, or they just might have divided it by 30 or by 20,000 and saying, hey, companies, this is what we're expecting, can you provide for this? It seems like it was an issue with the bare minimum, but also maybe the game itself. We're just looking at this like a straightforward issue, like, hey guys, they didn't bring enough service for the 20,000 people, and that's why everything went wrong. But maybe Niantic is not being truthful about how much data their game sucks, or at the same time, just the issues the game has with multiple people around. This could just be a problem with Pokemon Go itself that was not figured out, that was not worked out until this event happened, because of the sheer amount of volume of people stressing the servers in such close proximity. There could have been enough data from the providers, but the game itself wasn't meant to handle it, and then authentication issues, crash bugs, and all kinds of stuff like that, because you're seeing just unresponsive games being shown on stream, being shown from people. And another thing that makes this even weirder is that Trainer Tips says that the experience was great outside of him having the issues, because he says he has the same issues that everyone else had at Pokemon Go Fest, but he still enjoyed it, being able to meet fans and engage with his audience.
So overall with Go Fest, how are you feeling today?
Honestly, it was a great success.
Yeah?
I've had some...
However, the problem is that's That's his experience. That for a majority of the people there, they came for the specific promised experience of Pokemon Go Fest. They had to pay out of their own pocket. Trainer Tips did not. They could have had to have paid up prices, because on this article from The Verge, they talk about scalpers charging up to $400 for tickets to Pokemon Go Fest because the tickets sold out so much. People wanted to go there for the fest. You can organize an event. You can go on Facebook. You can get some friends together. You can go to the local college. Anyone can go to a park and play Pokemon Go and have an interactive Pokemon Go experience. That seems like what Trainer Tips got out of this and enjoyed with it. But if you're paying money, if you're paying travel, if you're paying hotel, if you're paying overpriced concessions, if you're getting gouged by the official Pokemon Go merchandise store that we've seen here, your experience will vary. But people really wanted to come to this event for the Pokemon experience, and they were disappointed on many aspects. You don't want to pay $20 for a ticket, hundreds of dollars in travel, or maybe even more for a scalped ticket, just to have to wrap around the building, wait 2 hours in line, and then get into a very underwhelming event. That the event itself looked very underwhelming as well, from what I heard from people that were actually at the event, from the many comments I've seen, many tweets, many articles ran about it, that the Team Pagodas could only hold about 100 people each, because there's just a couple of picnic tables and beanbags, and also if the weather got wet, then that means those areas just became mud pits, so it wasn't even good accommodations, and you had to cram under the tents if you wanted to be a part of like that team atmosphere, and those were the only places to really sit since you couldn't bring your own chairs. And there's also reports of people bringing umbrellas and stuff, which could have held up the line, because unless you read the items that are banned, because like Pokemon Go Fest, they did a list of items that were banned. It was like umbrellas, cameras that could, like actual professional grade cameras, chairs and stuff. I mean, if you're expecting a day at the park where you play Pokemon Go, you're going to bring your own chairs, and you're not going to think the rules are going to be stupid enough to forbid those items. So that could have maybe been a hold up with the line. Also, I just heard the management of things was also pretty poorly done from people that went to the event and just made observations. The stream was very lackluster as well. So, I mean, you can look at all of these other issues that happened at Pokemon Go Fest, and it's hard to say that Niantic is not to blame when it's also history repeating itself. That what happened when Pokemon Go was launched? Server issues. What made people really upset at Pokemon Go and killed off the momentum that Pokemon Go had at the beginning of the game? Server issues. And then the same things happened at Pokemon Go Fest. You can see where I'm going with this, guys. So that's why I'm really upset that, you know, you have to look at this from a more objective stance. It seems like a lot of people are only using Trainer Tips as their source when it goes much deeper than that. And I think that also might be a reason why Niantic works so closely with him, because he has a very tight-knit, very dedicated player base that seems like they'll believe him just about anything, even when there's open knowledge that he has been partnered with Niantic for this entire event. So that immediately right there should be enough that he cannot give unbiased information, or that, you know, you need more than just one source when it comes to this. And we have the actual companies speaking out against this, saying that no, it's not a Verizon issue. I'm wondering if AT&T has also spoken up, but they're shooting back. So I think it's also Niantic's responsibility to kind of stress, hey, we're going to need a lot more here than you think, because this is some kind of crazy game. So I feel like that someone dropped the ball at some point. I'm not going to say that Verizon is completely exonerated of any fault. You know, maybe there is something that they could have done more that was offered to them but wasn't made clear. You know, it's just a really messy situation, but I don't think that you can just kind of flip it around and be like, oh, see, Niantic was fine because Trainer Tips says so. You know, I don't think that that's how we can kind of break this one down. Also, guys, remember, they've already been deceptive. You know, they could be giving false information to Trainer Tips. Because, like, think about it. When you look at the people that were contracted, Trainer Tips has been the most outspoken about what happened at the event. Maybe he has special permission over that contract from Niantic, and maybe he wasn't given the proper information just to kind of make this a better PR move, because we've seen that Niantic has been deceptive in the past. They were changing the numbers for Pokemon Go Fest to make sure that Lugia was released. A lot of people are saying, well, of course they're going to do that because the event was such a disaster. Could you imagine it going that wrong and then also not being able to get a legendary Pokemon? So for such a large event, they can't make it go that wrong. But at the same time, all they had to do was come on stage and be like, look, we know there's an issue. We know you didn't get what was promised to you. You're getting $100 Pokecoins. You're getting all this other stuff. We're going to give Lugia regardless. We didn't make the goals, but it's understandable why we didn't get to make the goals. Here, everyone gets the events. This is our apology. But no, they faked it. They were like, even with everything going wrong, we still got it. All of your hard work unlocked all six rewards, as well as legendary Pokemon for everyone. We caught it, we passed the raid, legendary Pokemon for the world, you know, instead of just being like, look, this didn't go as planned, here we're giving it to you guys anyways because we anticipated that it was going to happen, but instead it came off as way too fake. And I don't know how you can trust any other information coming out of them with all this happening, as well as launch of Pokemon Go. Just everything just keeps adding up, but I feel that this adds another layer to it. The issues outside of Verizon's control states company, so I mean, it's words against words. It's kind of all about who you want to believe most at this point. But I'm saying that the history, the rest of the event, shows that Niantic was not prepared. They did not ask for enough help. They did not contract the right people to get this event going to the right place. So yeah, I feel that with a little bit of common sense, this event kind of has a much different outlook. That's kind of going to be it right there. So if you guys enjoy the video. Also, yeah, this was another update that happened pretty recently. Pokemon Go Fest rewards to be extended for an additional 72 hours. I don't know if this is just kind of more of an apology, more adding up to it, but yeah, we do have 5 days now, I believe, of Pokemon Go Fest rewards, even though no one reached the event goal, and Niantic tried to play it off like people did. So there we go, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.